Welcome, everyone. This is another episode of Lost Mixtapes. I don't think I've ever really introduced myself quite that way with something at the beginning, but I'm sure you knew that when you clicked on it or you recognized my face from somewhere. Anyway, this is an episode a video I was going to do last week on Friday because it was International Women's Day. But then I learned that the whole month is International Women's History Month. So I don't think you necessarily need to have a day or a month to appreciate female artists. There's so many that I appreciate. Some of my absolute favorite artists of all time are women. But hey, it's a great topic, and why not show 10 female artists that I absolutely love and that have either made history, are making history, or are soon to make history. And I thought I'd start the first one off. These are really in no order at all, but I like this cover a lot, and I haven't talked about this record at all, so I thought I would start with this Courtney Barnett record. This is her second full length. Tell Me How You Really Feel. I like her wordplay on the first record better in the two EPs, but for a rock record, I think Courtney Barnett made a real rock record with this one that you can crank up a little bit, and I really like it. If it's not my favorite, it's my second favorite, but what a brilliant artist. I mean, her style is so unique. She so owns it. Verbose, lyrically, there's a lot there. Lots of storytelling, lots of interesting observations. I mean, the lead single off this record was Nameless Faceless, just talking about walking down the street as a woman versus probably walking down the street as a guy where you have to worry about it quite a bit less. But just the dangers of that, and all of her records are just, there's so much storytelling to them, and especially the first couple, this being the second one, other than the two EPs too, which are equally great. Avant Gardener is the one that kind of put her on the map, and that's on the two EPs. The next one I have on my list, or on my on deck, is The Breeders. I mean, we were introduced to, most of us, to Kim Deal through the Pixies. One of my favorite albums of all time, Doolittle. You know, she had I think she had maybe Silver. I don't think she had that many songs on there, but the one before it, Surfer Rosa, she sure did. And that one, Gigantic, was pretty much the Breeder sound, at least on this first record, kind of on tape. You could hear it. And who knew at the time or shortly after that she had all of these other songs that were equally as good, if not better. And yeah, Pod is a brilliant record. Steve Albini produced it. It's my favorite Breeders record. Of course, the next one they would get tons of acclaim and recognition, and really came out of the gate swinging after the Pixies broke up. But I'll always love Pod. I love the sound of it. I love the rawness of it. I love the drums. It's a drummer from Slint, and yeah, just a brilliant record and one of my favorites. Next up. And Kim Deal is going to continue to make, I guess she's got a new record, I think a solo record in the works. I think the first one under her own name. So yeah, I expect that we'll hear that in 2024, and I'm really excited for it. Next up is PJ Harvey. I don't know how many of you got into that Sound of Vinyl sale where if you were a fan of PJ Harvey, you really had it good because so many of her records were, initially it was like free and then you paid shipping. Shipping, of course, was more than normal, and then they kind of reversed it. Anyway, it was an incredible time to pick up on some PJ Harvey, and this is one of them that I got. I had this on CD when it came out. I think I bought it the day it came out, and I really kind of warmed up to this quite a bit, this record. I kind of forgot how good it was, or maybe never realized how good it is. It's one of those records where, like her early stuff, or maybe not since 4-track demos, where she did pretty much the whole record herself. Brought in some people later on, but it's definitely kind of a DIY PJ Harvey record. It's the first one after she, probably most popular one, which is the one before this, which I can't think of the name of. Stories from the Street or Stories from the City? Stories from the City. I keep thinking of the Cure collection, standing out on a beach whenever I have to come up with the name of the PJ Harvey record. But this is a really good record, really a little underrated, and she's a hell of an artist, and I always look forward to what she's doing, even if she's lost me a little bit with some of the narrative kind of deep dives into things she's done for the last couple of records where you need like all kinds of reference to really understand it. You don't need much of that on Her. Next artist, Cat Power. Absolutely love this covers record. She's brilliant whatever she does. I mean, her originals are really good. Wrote tons of great records. I got turned on to her through Moonpix back in like 1998, I think. And after that, there was a first covers record she did where she covered the Rolling Stones' Satisfaction and some Velvet Underground songs. This one came out last year. You can't really, I don't know if you can read it. Cat Power sings Dylan. If you haven't heard this record, seek it out, stream it, listen to it. It's not just another Dylan's cover record. She really does a phenomenal job of this. And I originally didn't have too much interest in it, even though I love her records. I loved her last covers record a lot, the one just called Covers. But man, she does so much magic with this record. It's just a magical night. It's caught. She has caught on tape, fortunately, and she has all of these just brilliant renditions and her phrasing a little bit different of that legendary concert at the Royal Albert Hall, even though it was done in Manchester. Yes. Anyway, Cat Power. Excellent female artist. Always keeps us guessing. And then, of course, Nico Case. This is her last record, Hell On, which I think came out in 2018. So it's been a while. This was on my list when we were talking Americana, of an Americana artist I really want to hear more from this year. And I kind of get the feeling we will. I don't know. It feels like a year that she's going to do something. I think she's on tour. She's playing some shows. This album was good, and I dismissed it a little too early and too easily. I've been listening to it lately. The packaging on this thing's absolutely incredible. It folds out, and it's got all kinds of inserts and really cool. Even though I don't really claim to understand or really like too much the cover, the packaging is really cool. The vinyl is really nice. And, you know, there's a song in there that she does with Mark Lanigan that actually carries quite a bit of extra weight now that he is no longer with us. So appreciate that too. But yeah, Nico Case, phenomenal artist. My two favorites are Blacklisted and Fox Confessor, which I think just came out on vinyl. I need to seek that out. I did see it not that long ago, which I think a lot of us were waiting for. Okay, I think I have to cut. And this is where the records get switched out for the second half of this. Not a countdown, 10 female artists that I absolutely love, that I am celebrating because it's Women's History Month. This is Sharon Van Etten. This is Are We There? Are We There is the title of it. This came out in 2015. It was I'd heard Sharon Van Etten before, but this is kind of my first buy an album, get it on vinyl, pull it out, study the lyrics, sit between two speakers, really listen to it. And it's kind of one of my favorites. It's pretty downbeat. Your Love Is Killing Me is kind of, I guess, the song that got some airplay. It's intense from the first note, but it's really powerful. She's a great artist. She continues to put out great records. I kind of liked her last one. I almost showed that one. I'm trying to show some more underrated records by these artists just to showcase them. Did like her last record. I like when she flirts with pop quite a bit. The one that had 17 on it. I thought that was just a great single. Always expecting great things from her. Continue to deliver, I have no doubt. All right, this is another one, kind of not the most popular record by them. This is Big Thief. Absolutely love this band. Adriana Linker is an incredible songwriter. Really interesting person too. I find that I could listen to her being interviewed all the time. She just has such interesting insights, talking about songwriting, talking about life, talking about what it means to be an artist. And yeah, this is a picture, I think, of her brother holding her as a baby. And there's a song on here, Mythological Beauty, which is just so incredibly powerful. It's hard to listen to at times. This one is called Capacity, and they're very much a band. Big Thief is definitely a band, not just one person. All four of them come together to create some real magic. And yeah, this album is definitely a good one. It's called Capacity, from 2016 or 2017. It was before the two records that came out in the same year. Okay, Patti Smith. How can you not talk about Patti Smith? Well, people are going to say, how can you not talk about and fill in the blank with other artists too? This isn't like supposed to be all encompassing of all female artists by any stretch, or even my 10 favorites, although we're probably hitting most of them here. Patti Smith group, Radio Ethiopia. This is a follow-up to Horses rather, and it's a different beast. It's not one that I've totally gotten into, to be honest with you. It's always intrigued me. It's one of the last Patti Smith records I bought. I think it's one of the few that's credited to Patti Smith group too. I think Wave might be that way. I don't think Easter is, and I know Dream of Life isn't, and all the ones that came after that. But pretty powerful record, pretty different, But like I said, I'm still learning this one. Radio Ethiopia. In fact, when I first saw it several times, I thought it was like some bootleg or something because I hadn't heard of it, which is kind of, I mean, I'm saying, the 90s or whatever. But yeah, Patti Smith Group. How can I not mention Sinead? Sinead O'Connor, absolutely incredible. I think I just talked about her in my last video. Absolutely love. Yeah, I did, because this record was still out from the last one. Brilliant artist. Absolutely love this record. I think this record is one of the best records of all time, one of the best debuts of all time, one of the best records of the 80s for sure. But yeah, one of the best albums of all time, one of the best artists of all time. If for some reason you haven't heard Lion and the Cobra, check it out. It's a different beast than I Do Not Want What I Have Not Got and the records that came after that. It's just so full of emotion, so passionate, so wonderful. And I highly recommend Lion and the Cobra. And I think I have one more record after Lion and the Cobra. But yeah, absolutely love this record. I think she wrote most of it when she was like 14 or 15 years old too. It's unbelievable. And why did she shave her head? In case anybody doesn't know, the record company wanted her to do some kind of fashion photograph thing the next day, and were telling her to wear a pretty dress and all that. And her response was basically like, fuck you. And she shaved her head. And of course, The Ghosts of Highway 20, Lucinda Williams. This record came out 2015. This is a double record. This is her second double record of her career that was meant to be a double record. I mean, others might be fitted on 2 records just because of the limitations of vinyl. But these were 2 CDs too. Ghosts of Highway 20 came out in 2015. The one before it, I think, was only like a year. I think it was 2013. Was Down Where the Spirit Meets the Bone. That was a little bit more of like a kind of an eclectic mixtape, Best of Lucinda sort of record. I think it's incredibly strong. And then this record came a couple years later, 2015. This is definitely more downtrodden, more serious. Sometimes I put this on and I'm like, I gotta take this off. It's a little too down for me. But it's a great album, and one that I don't think gets mentioned enough. The songs are really strong. And yeah, it's kind of like a sequel to Car Wheels, apparently, telling these stories of her youth and growing up. And just an excellent record. Another one from an artist that I don't think sometimes gets appreciated enough, or people mention Car Wheels and then the conversation ends there. She has made a lot of brilliant albums, and this is one of them. So that's it. Women's History Month. We should be talking about women musicians. We should be talking about women singer-songwriters, which is most of what I talked about here. And yeah, brilliant artists who happen to be female. And definitely let me know who are your favorites, or who would you put up here. And again, wasn't a ranking, but just 10 that are extremely important to me. Thanks, everyone.